because I know you guys usually will get a lot of information about what you should be doing, and some of it's out of date, some of it's, useful information, but you're not really sure what you should be focusing on first to kind of get the most benefit for what you're doing. So with that said, one of the very first things that I wanted to touch on is just the design of your website. There are a few basic things you want to make sure of for your website or your homepage. It should be easy for people to find what they're looking for. If they see your web address on a home sign or a local flyer or some sort of advertisement, or heck, even on the back of your car if you have that in your car window. The goal of the homepage is not to make the person think what the next step should be that they'll want to take. So with this, we've got the designs of here's the home search. Our mortgage designs have apply now buttons. It's very, very easy for me to kind of pick where I want to go and get deeper into the site. Where things are really actually honestly don't matter that much. So don't sweat necessarily, what the pictures look like, what the colors are. You're going to want to focus more of your effort on the actual content of the site and providing the useful content. Let's see, I've got somebody saying that I'm breaking up. Let me double check this plugin thing here. Make sure I'm in all the way. Is that any better, guys? Because I think it was slightly out of sync. So really, when it comes to redesigning your website, right now the best advice that I've got is don't go for a total redesign unless your site is not mobile responsive, because that is the one choice you can make that will greatly benefit, just because search engines give greater weight to sites that are mobile responsive. What is a mobile responsive website, you ask? All of ours are, and what makes it mobile responsive is if I shrink this window down here, you'll see that it kind of adjusts to fit whatever size that I'm putting in there. So if it goes all the way down to phone, you'll see that things kind of stack. Some things actually do get hidden in this layout because you'll see that there's only 4 buttons instead of the 8 that were here. The reason why this is better than a site, Jordan, I know you were working on an article for this. Do you have a site that's not mobile responsive I could pull up real quick, just to kind of show the difference? And while she's getting that, trying to think too, the reason why this is beneficial is because search engines don't have to do the thinking when it comes to returning results based upon whatever device somebody's trying to view from, whether that's a telephone or a smartphone, a tablet, or laptop, desktop, any of those things. Since this is all the same code set data, you're going to get the consistent experience on your site no matter where you're viewing it. And that's ultimately because that's a great user experience. That's why search engines are giving it the weight that it does. One thing that you can do to test to see if your current website is friendly. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Here is a link. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna bring this up. So this is, okay, so this is one of our legacy themes. So you'll notice that this is not responsive, because whenever I shift it down, it just kind of, there's overlap. I get scroll bars. It's just not, if I'm on a phone, I would have to pinch and zoom. It's just not a really good experience. So that's why with it, we don't set these up anymore. And that's why we have our mobile responsive ones that are nice. So that's kind of the very first thing. Yeah, it is okay to go with some pictures that are local to kind of give it that local vibe. But once you kind of get that set, really your time's better spent writing great content, talking about your location and the services that you offer, and generally just being helpful to people, because with inbound marketing, you don't necessarily want to be that silo of knowledge where, I'm hoarding it over here. The more you share that kind of freely, the more goodwill it gets, and the higher, and the more people see you as an expert. Thank you for sharing that link, Jordan. And that's another one where you can kind of see how your site works on different devices. Yeah, I don't have the extension in this one, but so that was kind of the very first point I wanted to make, because people are coming to you for your content, not necessarily what's in your slideshow or what color your background is. So as long as with your colors you're keeping it, visually consistent with your logo, for example, that's really all you need to be doing. The second point that I do want to make today as well, and if you guys have any questions at any time, feel free to kind of pop them in the chat window there, is that you don't try to compete with your competition. You really want to define your niche instead, because if you're trying to compete directly with somebody, they could have some advantages that you don't necessarily, and by completely redefining the rules of the game, so to speak, to be in your favor, which would be defining that niche, nobody else is really competing in that arena, so you're going to be that expert and be the person that people are going to seek out for that level of expertise. For example, we've got relocating. I could, not a real estate agent, but we're going to pretend for a second, I could be, by putting this on my site, I'm saying, hey, I'm competing with everybody else in this area that does relocation. Ways I could narrow that further to really kind of carve out my own sphere, my own market, if you will, would be, let's see, I could do business to business relocation, so I could specialize in if businesses are wanting to relocate to Oklahoma. That's a very specific niche, but I would become and kind of make sure I had content on my site sending those signals that, hey, I'm the world's best at knowing how to move your business. That's a huge logistical nightmare. I can make it easy for you. And that's kind of the same vibe you want to have. Other options for that same narrowing of the relocation would be military relocation. We've got bases here, so I see a lot of people that do that as well. If that's a factor in your area, I would definitely consider that. And even just relocating for jobs in the area. We have a lot of energy companies here in Oklahoma that, oil and gas, huge industry here. People relocate for that all the time. I've got a brother-in-law that moves all over the place or has jobs out of state, around the state. So, I mean, it's a big deal. So just figure out ways that you can kind of get creative with your niche. And so if you're trying to maybe narrow buyers, you could do specifically people that are moving from either apartments to house or renter, converting renters to buyers, and that could be what you kind of specialize in. And then again, make sure that because having that specialization is what's going to guide your content creation and strategy for your site. And having the great, remarkable content is how you're going to attract people organically to your site and convert them to leads and build that reputation and build that brand that, this is your specialty. And kind of in that same vein, and then I'm going to swing back over to targeting, which is kind of my fourth point. I know we talk a lot about, SEO or search engine optimization in these sessions. You will probably, or if you haven't already, you will be approached by people saying, hey, we can get you to the top of Google, or we can help boost your page rank. And really ultimately what you're paying these SEO experts for is running your pay-per-click campaigns and essentially paying for the rank. They have no desire or interest in helping you with your content to boost your rank organically, because then that would kind of put them out of a job, because if you can get, let me pull up some search results real quick to kind of, there we go. Pull these up real quick to kind of, so these guys are paying to have the #1 spot because they're paying for an ad. Most people that are doing searches online usually will skip the ads. About, if I remember my reading and research correctly, about 25% of people will actually click on the ad. I'll admit that if I was Googling a specific business name and that business was paying to have an advertisement, I would sometimes accidentally click on that, even though their organic result would be right here. It's happened, just because you get going so fast. But, sorry, digressing. But they've paid to have that first spot. 75% of the people that are doing the searches are actually going to wind up going to these, which none of these people have paid to have this rank. This is all the organic results. People tend to trust those more often because, hey, you're not throwing money at it. And the people that are ranked here are the ones that have, kind of earned that place, as it were. This last session that we had that was recorded on YouTube is kind of how to use these results to kind of reverse engineer some good content that's going to compete at this level to try to get you to the top organically. Highly recommend you check that out. Our YouTube channel, Jordan, if you could just throw that in there, that way I can kind of refocus on this, please. Okay, so back to the SEO. They're not going to do anything that's going to help build your page content or optimize your pages to get this rank, because again, it does put them out of a job, because if people aren't clicking here, then you're not going to continue to pay them if you're not actually seeing results from it. And when I say ads, that'll also be like Facebook ads, Twitter ads. I think even Pinterest has ads now. A lot of social media platforms are going to carrying ads. And I mean, that is an option if you want to do that, but the purpose of this open office hour session here with Pipeline has always been about not opening your wallet, but saving you money by teaching you the things that you can do to, get ranked really well with your pages. So that way you're not having to continue to pay out for search engine rank. Some people do a combination of it, which is perfectly fine. It's just, again, if you can allocate that budget to something that can provide you with more value rather than trying to continue to pay for those ad placements, business sense says you want to kind of shift that, whether that's, maybe seeing more money in your own pocket, something to invest more in your own business. Again, building organic rank does take time, but it is definitely worth the investment in the long term. And again, on our YouTube channel, pretty much all of the classes that we've had on that are centered around, and that's primarily the topic of this class, is how to get that rank. We do have some past recordings as well as resources on our help site, help.pipeline.roi.com, to kind of get you started. It is a lot of information. My advice, pick one thing and then, go do that. And then whether that's interlinking between your pages so that way people can kind of click through and engage on your site, whether that's blogging, once a week. I highly recommend you do that if you haven't considered that already. Posting more on social media where it's engaging rather than just kind of broadcasting listings or whatever loan rates you've got currently. Again, all of that's on the help side, but I would pick just one thing, and once you kind of get that as a habit, then add the next thing, and pretty soon you're going to see a lot of those results and things. Switching back over to the other topic, I mentioned before about defining your niche. Just because you're targeting specifically one type of person doesn't mean that others aren't going to find you, because ripple effect. Actually, I'm going to give you guys kind of an example from my own experience. It's not necessarily real estate related, but the same concept applies. There is a blogger that I follow. I'm bringing up her site real quick. That I found clicking something on my Pinterest, which if you're not familiar with Pinterest, it's kind of like a virtual corkboard where you can pin different articles and things like that. So I saw something from her. It piqued my interest. I clicked on it. Her target market are people that are entrepreneurs wanting to build their own business, small business owners, things like that, but more in the creative mindset. So like freelance web developers, freelance, coaching, things like that. I don't necessarily fall straight into that demographic, but there's enough of a little overlap between, what I do here and this, that, yeah, I found her, and, now I'm raging fan. But you can see that these are, excuse me a second, guys. There we go. That might help. But, it's not necessarily hitting the ball completely on the head, whereas, I'm part of her demographic or the people that she's necessarily going after. Switching back over to our site, we've got people that are targeting buyers who are, or excuse me, sellers that are having problems with their house staying on the market for a long time. So that could be an interesting way to narrow that niche is, has your house been on the market greater than, 90 days or whatever, and you've had little offers. I specialize in turning those around or something like that. The key is you want to be able to solve a problem. And by defining that target customer, whether you fill out kind of we have a buyer persona template that also includes a seller template on our resources page in the ebook section at the help.pipeline site. And if Jordan wants to post that link too, that'd be awesome. So to help you kind of get create a fictitious, excuse me, I cannot talk today, a fictitious character, if you will, that is the ideal customer for that specific niche that you're targeting. You know, things like, you know, how many kids do they have? Are they married? What's their lifestyle? What are their hobbies? Where do they hang out? Things like that. And basically just kind of filling out the buyer's persona template that has a series of questions to do that. Yeah, let me see if I can, if we can get that link in the chat window. There was, let's see, so you can use that to define, and then when you're writing and creating your content, you write like you're writing to that one specific person, or you know, you can give them a name or something. So that helps a lot. To be honest, when we're creating content here, you know, we pretend like we're writing to one person because that makes it a lot more natural, a lot more conversational versus, you know, trying to, you know, talk to a room and you know, like you're at a conference or something. Okay, I'm going to pull this up real quick so you can see our help site. So, ebooks. There we go. I think we renamed it, which is why we're having problems finding it. There we go. No worries. Okay. You can download the PDF here, and it will. Oh, let's pull it up since we're talking about targeting. There we go. Okay. But so you'll see, let me scroll back here, down here to the questions. As you've got, you know, we give you an example and we kind of refer to it as, you know, Brenda Buyer. And just really kind of think about that, because knowing how to target that person or that demographic, that's where you're going to be getting the quality leads, because you're going to start to resonate with people. When you resonate with someone, they have trust in you, and a lot of it too, and by putting out the information that they're going to find useful on your site, you're actually saving yourself a lot of explanation time and things like that. So you'll actually be more efficient in being able to help them, because they're coming to you as a more informed buyer for especially what your expertise are, and then you can kind of, you know, do some fine-tuning from there, as opposed to just getting a generic lead starting from scratch. And you can kind of see, you know, how they preferred, because millennials prefer to communicate quite differently than you know, people that are retired and looking to downsize or move to senior communities. Vastly different methods of communication. So knowing that is going to help you be able to target how to reach that type of customer better. There's, don't remember if it's a military saying, or I don't remember who said it, but the aim small, miss small. Because if you're aiming at just a little point, you may just miss by a little bit. But if you're just kind of doing a shotgun approach, you are likely not, you might hit your target every now and again, but more often than not, you're going to be expending a lot of effort for not a lot of return or reward. So targeting definitely is the way to go. And, you know, we've got this site targets people that are relocating. It does, you know, first-time home buyers. So you can have multiple things. You just want to make sure that it's very easy for someone to, you know, get in and start digging to the information that is relevant to them. And all of our sites are set up to be that way by having the categorized navigation at the top. Doesn't matter what layout you're on. And then some of them have additional calls to action where you can kind of pull out some of the things that are in the navigation to just kind of highlight them on your homepage, but somebody can still get to them from within the category that they're in. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, my last point that I kind of want to make is we get a lot of questions about what social media platform should I be on. It really, really does depend on, again, who you're targeting. So knowing who you're targeting really is the first step to everything, because that's going to help you determine your content strategy, what sort of content you need to have on your site, what questions they're going to have, what issues or challenges that they may face when they're looking to buy a house or secure financing for a house. And by knowing those things, you can make sure that your site is there, ready, with the answers they're looking for. Because a lot of people turn to the search engines, and then making sure that you've got the content that has what somebody's looking for and is optimized to rank well. That's one of the bulk things in inbound marketing philosophy, is you definitely have to have the content there. The other thing is knowing that target is also going to tell you how sorry, my brain keeps jumping ahead, what platforms you need to target or focus on for social media. Because again, using the example of millennials and the senior community or active seniors that you may be targeting, people looking to downsize their home. Very, very different groups of people, very different responses to technology. A millennial is more likely than not going to either message you on Facebook or tweet you on Twitter versus, or even text you, versus and as in somebody that's looking to move into a 55 plus community, might be lucky if they use email. They're probably more likely than not to call you. Though Facebook, I would definitely get on, just because one of the largest growing demographic on it is people over the age of 35. So a lot of, like, I know my parents are in their 70s. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But they're on Facebook because they want to stay connected with their grandkids. My dad's used it to connect with people from his high school, and they have many reunions and things. So people want to get connected through Facebook especially. Let's pull that up. So with Facebook, you'll have your profile that you'll set up. And then once you've got your profile here, you really need to set up a business page, because in order to see what you're posting on your profile, somebody has to send you a friend request, you have to see it, and you have to accept them in order for them to see what's going on with you. With the page, all somebody has to do is click the like button, and it's up here. Okay. And then once the like button is clicked, they'll see the activity in their stream for anything that gets posted to the page. And this is a good way to kind of keep maybe your profile, friends, family, personal stuff, versus this is something that you can use to reach out to your larger network. They can leave you reviews on your Facebook. And then you can put, specific services, things like that. So this would be a good place to highlight, specializing in business relocation to Oklahoma City, or any number of things. The more you can kind of work in, specializes or expert into how you're marketing yourself. People want to work with experts and they want to work with specialists because, again, that's very targeted knowledge. That means you've gotten a lot of experience with it. And even if you're kind of scared to give yourself that label, don't be, because I guarantee you, you know a lot more than they do about the subject matter if they're coming to you, because they're coming to you looking for those answers. And I know that's something that I get, that can be a little weird to say, yeah, I'm an expert in inbound marketing for real estate agents and stuff. But at the same time, I know a lot more about this and how these work than you guys do. So as part of trying to share that knowledge and help you guys, yeah, to me, yes, it does sound cheesy, but at the same time, that's how the experts get to be, billed as experts. They either, adopt the label themselves, or, I mean, again, it's just a branding thing too. But again, you do want to be able to kind of, back up or prove value. And I hope that I prove value to you guys, just because I want to help your websites and your business and help you get more of those leads that are really qualified, that get to the closing table. But yeah, so you can do services, add some information to the about, put in your office hours and things, because this kind of gives you like a local footprint, which is good, because search engines also like local. The other way you can use Facebook is to create a specific group or community. One way that I kind of almost like to approach inbound marketing is you want to create a hub around, you want to kind of make your site and your business a hub for, your industry, or for, that local knowledge that you've got, because that's one of the reasons you guys can compete with Zillow and Trulia for ranking results, is people want community information. Zillow and Trulia don't have that. So the more you can demonstrate that knowledge on your site, for example, with the relocating to Oklahoma City, one of the examples that I teach, the example page that I've built, is 10 neighborhoods to consider when relocating to Oklahoma City, because when somebody's relocating, yeah, it's nice to know what you can do in the town, but I guarantee you they're going to be a lot more focused on, where do I want to live in a strange city that I may have never been to before, or hey, I'm moving back to my old hometown, but yet I don't know how much it's changed in certain areas, and there may be areas that aren't as desirable for me to live in, or that won't meet my needs as well as another one that I may not be aware of to consider. So that's kind of an example there. So to groups, one of the ways that groups are beneficial is you can add some people to them. So if you've got your network, or you have some people that have connected with you on Facebook, you've done business with them, kind of keep that community going, and kind of feed your network, as it were. Invite them to be part of a group, and you can set it up to be, there's 3 different types of groups on Facebook. There's public, which means that anybody can hop in and join at any time. You don't have to approve them. You'll notice this is a closed group. So if somebody's running a search up here in Facebook for, like, first-time home buyers, it's going to pull in local results first, as opposed to just being, kind of generic. which is why we've got, Naples in there for this, since we're pretending we're in Naples instead of Oklahoma City now. In hindsight, I probably would have picked a shorter name just so that way it fits here. But let me see if it'll bring up the setting. Nope, it won't. So closed group means that somebody can find it in the search results, but they have to click this join button in order to request access to see what is being posted there. So that's a good way that you can kind of build that community, because the number one way that you kind of lose those listing leads from people that you've helped to buy the home is they don't remember necessarily who they spoke to, or they can't find you. We used to have a gentleman that worked for us that was an agent, and he would often say that whenever he'd go into a listing presentation, he would ask the person why they weren't going with the agent that sold them the house, just to get some feedback and to kind of know what, you can get a lot of good information from that question. The number one answers that he got were usually, I have no idea how to contact him. I don't remember who it was. And, if you're working with somebody as a buyer, you're doing a lot of legwork and a lot of the heavy lifting in that transaction, making sure that things go through. So you've made an investment in that person. And so having a group on Facebook or something like that for people that you've helped them buy the house or whatever, and just kind of keeping that connection is a good way to keep your name in the top of their mind, because I guarantee if they're following you on Facebook or you've invited them into this group, that lets them know, hey, they want to engage with me, beyond the transaction. I wasn't just a commission check to them. And then that's the kind of attitude that's going to get you more word of mouth referrals, which if they're giving you that, you want to ask them, hey, can you go leave a review on my Facebook page or Yelp or Zillow or one of the other ones that you may have a profile on. And that's been covered in some of our previous videos as well. But by, keeping that community and networking kind of going and alive, you shouldn't run into that problem, because that way, in 5 to 7 years when they're ready to buy their next house or do an upgrade, then they know how to get a hold of you. You've been engaging them and helping them or helping their friends or their family, hopefully in that interim. And that's a huge thing. You guys, most of the agents that we talk to, I know, talk about how, oh yeah, I do referral business. You could take it to the next level if all these people that are giving you referrals, you build kind of a community for them, because then you kind of also become, the networker, because you never know when, and this is kind of also one of the ways that LinkedIn works is, this person that's got a problem, and you have this other person in your network that is like an expert and can solve that. You get major, kudos points or, major goodwill by connecting those two people. So thinking about building that community a little bit outside, the traditional scope of the business, that's going to pay off in dividends, because it's like, hey, not only was this guy a rock star agent, I was able to, get help outside of that because of some of the people that this guy knows as well. Networking is a very powerful tool. That is why social media exists. It's all about building relationships and maintaining them. Okay, let's see here. And any questions? Because I know we're kind of, let's see, we've got about 20 minutes left. Let me kind of give you a breakdown of the major social, I really apologize, I can't talk today, about the major social platforms and how you can kind of use them for real estate. I've already covered Facebook in depth, but the next I'm going to do is Twitter. And for this one, I'm actually going to sign into mine because this is kind of a fake account. Obviously by the wonderfully cheesy headshot. I say this and then mine's kind of almost. Whoops. Haha. Okay, cool. Ooh, this is a good one. Twitter is very much about what's happening right now in the moment. It's got a diverse demographic that's in it, though it does tend to be on the younger side of the scale. I'd have to go look up some stats on it, but it's not as many of the older generations are going to be on this one. This is very much, yes, millennials. Yeah, I would say maybe to late 30s. Primarily are the ones that use this. Though that age, as those people get older, is going to continue to shift. But some advantages that Twitter has. You can, whenever somebody talks about something going viral, usually Twitter, followed by Facebook sometimes, is one of the ways that it happens. Somebody can share an article like this one. I'm just going to do a quick glance at it before I decide I want to share it. Nope, I don't, because there's not really anything there. All right. Some people will retweet based on just the headline or something that you do. I always suggest click on a link if you're going to be on Twitter sharing something to know where it's going before you share it, because if I'd shared that, I probably would have looked a little dorky. Unless you've got people like her that you trust implicitly. So this actually does look like a really good article, so I'm going to retweet it to my followers. So I don't remember if I follow Peg or not. I'll look in a second. Let's pretend like I don't follow this person just because I'm not sure. Regina tweeted this, and because she put the little period before it, everybody in Regina's network can see it, even if I'm not following, Peg's tweets. So here I'm sharing it, so anybody that doesn't follow Regina but follows me can also now see that. So it's kind of that, I'm friends with Regina, so it hits me, and then I share it with my friends, and then they share it with theirs, and it just explodes. You want, whenever you find really useful articles, and again, that's going to fit within that target, because you do want to do social media with a strategy in mind, and that strategy should be, pick maybe 4 to 5 main topics of things that you'll share, and kind of stick to those. I would pick, maybe and you don't have to go with that number, but I would definitely throw in the mix one that's kind of personal and fun, not necessarily industry related. So for example, a lot of what I share are going to be articles around, inbound marketing, social media management. Sometimes I share some startup businessy stuff, and then occasionally I'll throw in something about Star Wars. Just to kind of, show that other side, and or like some of the charity groups that I help out, things like that. So that way it gives kind of a well-rounded presence that's not just, this. And occasionally I'll share some of our pipeline articles, but primarily I'm sharing things from other people that I know are valuable to those that follow me. Again, it's all about providing value. And that's a great point, Jordan. Whether you're young or old, it really doesn't have to influence the age or target audience. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if you like Twitter or not. If the people you're wanting to do business with are on it, sorry, bite the bullet, learn how to use it. Because I guarantee you, the people that, I know I talked about not trying to compete earlier, but I guarantee you there will be somebody else that's willing to bite the bullet and do it and move in on that. So yeah, case in point, Jordan's one of our marketing interns here. I don't know anything about the Snapchat stuff. I will admit it. I was like, I've tried it. Okay, not really. I have an account, but I don't know actually how to use it. But I know it's something that if I decided I wanted to target, more millennial stuff or even, more millennials and younger, depending on whatever business I was doing, it would be something that I would have to make a time investment to learn in, just so that way I could communicate, essentially be where the people are. Sorry to have a Little Mermaid moment, but you want to be where the people are. So I'm very, very curious as to whether or not I follow this person. But see, once I've shared it, and again, it went viral, and not a lot of effort to do it. Twitter, you set up your profile, pick some good people to follow. They do give you the ability to get recommendations. It's not all celebrities and things like that. There are a lot of business professionals, other real estate agents, places like Inman, Forbes, and all of that. So follow some of them, and then if they're sharing something that's relevant to kind of one of those 5 or less main things that you want to kind of talk about, then share away, because that's how because that's how I have this many followers. And this has been, I think I started this account, does it tell me? Started this account in, nope, it's not going to tell me. But it was, I want to say November 2014, that sounds about right. So this has been a year and a half, and I've gained this much. Mainly it's because, again, I've picked what I want to share on this profile, and I engage with it. I reply to other people's tweets, things like that. You have to engage if you're on social media. That's the big thing. Because again, it's, I'm trying to build a relationship with the people in this demographic. This is where they're hanging out, so this is where I need to be. Not going to dig too much more into this, just because I've gone, like you'll see, here's social media stuff, here's my Star Wars stuff, and then I'm right back to business. So, so there you go. So I'm mixing in a little fun. You'll notice too that you've also got, today's, ooh, cool. Today is National Superhero Day. There's like a national registry or something. Usually they'll have hashtags. You want to use that for fun? I would make that one of your things, is find out whatever it's National whatever day, and then have a post ready to go that talks about it, because again, that's something of, hey, it's relevant. If you're doing helping out with local community events, you can find out if that event has a hashtag, start tweeting, taking pictures, sharing. It's what you want to do. Okay, so that's Twitter. And yep, I am following her. Okay, cool. But if I hadn't been, because she had put the period before the @ symbol, because if she just put the @ symbol, that message would have only shown up to people following both Regina and Peg. So I would have been able to see it, but I don't know if Becky follows Peg as well. but I know she follows Regina, so she wouldn't have been able to see it if she didn't follow Peg as well. So that's why if you're going to put the @ symbol at the front of a tweet, you want to put a period before it. That way more people can see it. One of those weird Twitter trick things. All right. Trying to think. Ooh. We're going to go to Instagram. Visual marketing is really huge. Social media platforms want video, they want pictures. Instagram is a great tool for real estate agents, especially mortgage professionals too. Again, it's all in how you use it, because you can take a quick picture while you're at an open house or a community event and share it. I'm trying to see. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, because this one's like you have to actually sign up on your phone. And again, you have people that follow you and follow. It gives you a place to put your web address if you want. But let me go. I'm picking on this one. This with Instagram, you can put as many hashtags as you want with the picture. This was a community event in Shawnee a couple weeks ago that I attended, and this would be the type of thing that you would want to share as a community expert. That way, that anybody that follows these hashtags knows what's going on. Art Trek was the name of the event at one of the local colleges in Shawnee. We've got like 2. But I mean, it's a way to show and engage with the community. Visual platform, great for that. You do have to sign up for it on your phone though, just because it works based on the camera off of your phone. You'll notice that I've got this one that, oh, that's got sound. That's basically just her, doing the pottery. So you can record short videos as well with this. So that way, so that's just kind of an example of how you can use Instagram to show some of the local things. I post things too because I live in a rural area. Shows some of those things as well. Kind of a backstage pass into your world is a great way to use that. So I'm trying to think of the next best one. Google Plus, I would definitely do, just because you get brownie points for being in the ecosystem of Google. It's another place where you can collect reviews. It's much like Facebook. If you've got a Google Plus platform, I cover that in the social media video that's on our YouTube channel. So I'm not going to get too much into it here, but I am going to talk about it. Because I want to talk about a different platform. And I don't remember the login because I know we did that. Okay. Maybe not. Sign in mine if it'll work. Oh. Stop. Because I mentioned Pinterest earlier is how I had found Regina. So this is a very important tool, especially if you're going to be blogging. There are a lot of that's how a lot of people find bloggers to follow, is actually through Pinterest. I know that's where I found a lot of mine. See if that'll let me in. Nope, it's not gonna let me in. Okay, I'll have to show you Pinterest some other time. But here, let me go back to it, because you can kind of see how it has the boards back here. These are all links usually to someone's site. So whenever you have a blog post, you can pin it to a Pinterest board, and somebody can see that, go in, click on it, get to your article or get to your site. That's exactly what happened, and how I found Regina. She had something about, zero to blog, which is a class that she'll run about how to get started in blogging and build a blog from scratch, pretty much if you don't have a website already, which that was something that I was kind of interested in, and that's how I kind of found her site and have read. The rest is kind of history on that one. But this Pinterest also has a really cool search capability, to where I know I was doing, when I was looking up some additional resources to share in our resources section about like social media and blogging articles and things like that, I did a search for real estate, social media templates or things like that. And there were several results to kind of use to look. So it's a great place to find inspiration if you're not really sure, or I will usually use it to hold articles or infographics that I might want to share later on. But yeah, but it's something definitely to kind of consider. If you're completely new to social media, I would suggest start with Facebook, then go Twitter, or if you feel more comfortable, you could easily do Facebook and Instagram, just to give that visual element. People like pictures. People also like video. So that's something to consider as well. All right, well, you guys have a great day. We'll have this up on our YouTube page a little bit later. Thanks.